The rise of interest in Islam in the West. In recent years, there has been a growing interest in Islam within the Western world. While mainstream media tend to focus on controversial narratives and politics, there is a quiet yet significant shift happening beneath the surface. This is not necessarily a case of mass conversions, but rather a deep curiosity and respect that is building toward the faith and its followers. What lies beneath the headlines? One of the key reasons for this rising interest is the global exposure of Islam. As the world becomes more connected, the interaction between cultures and religions has intensified. Social media platforms, documentaries, podcasts, and books are making Islam more accessible and understandable to people in the West. The curious are no longer relying solely on mainstream news outlets for their understanding of the religion, and instead are turning to more direct sources of information. Additionally, the visible presence of Muslim communities in Western cities is fostering greater engagement. People are getting to know Muslims not just as distant figures on the news, but as their neighbors, colleagues, and friends. This interaction is helping to break down the stereotypes and misconceptions that have long clouded perceptions of Islam. Western intellectuals and scholars are also turning to Islamic teachings for insight. The Quran's rich philosophical, spiritual, and ethical content resonates with many in the West who are searching for meaning beyond materialism. The rise of interest in mindfulness, meditation, and spiritual practices has led many to explore the Islamic concept of inner peace and submission to God, surrendering to Allah. The idea of living a life with purpose, guided by strong moral values, aligns with the broader Western quest for spiritual fulfillment. Another factor driving interest is the growing disillusionment with secularism and consumerism. In a world where many are searching for meaning in a society driven by materialism, individualism, and constant distraction, Islam offers a path of balance, purpose, and fulfillment. The teachings of Islam encourage moderation, self-reflection, and a connection with the divine, which many find appealing in the face of modern challenges. However, this shift towards Islam is not always overt. It's subtle and often personal, occurring on an individual level rather than as part of a larger societal trend. Many people are quietly learning about Islam, questioning their own beliefs, and opening themselves to new perspectives. This quiet revolution is not something that's always making the headlines, but it's happening nonetheless. In the next part, we'll explore how the perceived threat of Islam has sparked curiosity, how misconceptions are being challenged, and how Muslims in the West are bridging the gap between cultures. Challenging the misconceptions. Despite the quiet rise in curiosity about Islam, there's still a significant amount of misunderstanding and fear surrounding the religion. The portrayal of Islam in the media, especially in the context of terrorism and extremism, has created a pervasive narrative that links Islam with violence and radicalism. However, this narrative is being increasingly challenged by those who are looking beyond the surface-level headlines. One of the misconceptions that people have about Islam is that it's a religion of violence and hatred. This image is largely shaped by a small number of extremist groups who hijack the religion for their own purposes. These groups represent a tiny fraction of the Muslim population, yet their actions are often portrayed as representative of Islam as a whole. In reality, the vast majority of Muslims around the world denounce violence and extremism, and their daily lives are marked by peace, love, and devotion. The Quran itself calls for peace, tolerance, and coexistence. Verses such as "There is no compulsion in religion," Quran 2:256, emphasize the importance of free will in spiritual matters. The concept of jihad, often misunderstood in the West, refers to striving in the way of God, which includes personal struggles for self-improvement, charity, and justice, rather than any form of violent conflict. In the face of these misconceptions, many Muslims in the West are working to educate their neighbors and colleagues. They are offering lectures, organizing interfaith dialogues, and writing articles to explain the true message of Islam. These efforts are helping to foster greater understanding and are dispelling the myths that have long contributed to fear and mistrust. Moreover, the increasing number of Westerners who are embracing Islam and choosing to convert is another testament to the fact that Islam's message is resonating with people. They often describe their journey to Islam as one of spiritual awakening, finding in the religion a path to inner peace, a sense of purpose, and a connection with the divine. The misconceptions surrounding Islam are gradually being unraveled as more and more individuals take the time to engage with Muslims, read the Quran, and understand the history and teachings of the faith. In the next section, we will explore how the Islamic values of family, community, and spiritual fulfillment are aligning with the values of many Westerners. The Islamic values that resonate with Western society. When we look at the core values of Islam, we find that they align closely with many values that are cherished in Western societies. Islam emphasizes family, community, charity, and personal responsibility, values that resonate deeply with many people in the West, especially those who are disillusioned with the superficial aspects of modern life. The importance of family is a central theme in Islam. In an age when the traditional family structure in the West is under strain, the Islamic model of family life offers a sense of stability, love, and mutual respect. Muslims are encouraged to honor their parents, care for their children, and maintain strong family bonds. These teachings promote a sense of togetherness and responsibility, which many people in the West are seeking in response to the breakdown of family ties in modern society. Similarly, the sense of community in Islam is powerful. Islam teaches that the community, ummah, is a source of strength and support, and that believers are responsible for one another. In the West, where individualism often leads to feelings of loneliness and isolation, the idea of belonging to a supportive and compassionate community is particularly appealing. Charity is another value that is deeply ingrained in Islam. Zakat, one of the 5 pillars of Islam, is the obligation to give a portion of one's wealth to those in need. This concept of social responsibility and giving back to the community resonates with the growing movement of social justice and activism in the West. Many people in the West are looking for ways to make a positive impact on the world, and Islam's emphasis on charity offers a clear and actionable way to do so. Moreover, Islam's teachings on personal responsibility, self-control, and discipline are also appealing to many people in the West who are struggling with the negative effects of consumerism, addiction, and unhealthy lifestyles. The principles of moderation and avoiding excess are highly relevant in a society where overconsumption and instant gratification often lead to emptiness and dissatisfaction. As more people in the West begin to recognize these values, they are finding that Islam offers a framework for living a more purposeful and meaningful life. It's a religion that encourages people to be better versions of themselves, to care for others, and to live in harmony with their surroundings. In the final section, we will explore how this growing interest in Islam is shaping Western society and what the future holds for this quiet transformation. The future of Islam in the West. As we look to the future, it's clear that the growing interest in Islam in the West is not a passing trend, but a shift in consciousness that could reshape society in profound ways. The quiet transformation that is taking place is not necessarily one of mass conversions, but rather a deepening understanding of Islam's values and teachings. This understanding is creating space for greater acceptance, tolerance, and dialogue between Muslims and non-Muslims in Western societies. It's also fostering a broader sense of spiritual openness that embraces diversity in belief systems, acknowledging the universal human desire for purpose, meaning, and connection. One of the most exciting aspects of this shift is the growing interfaith dialogue that is taking place. More and more, Muslims and non-Muslims are coming together to discuss their shared values, common challenges, and the ways in which their respective faiths can work toward a more just and peaceful world. These conversations are breaking down barriers and fostering mutual respect, helping create a more inclusive and harmonious society. Interfaith events, both locally and globally, are becoming a platform where people of different religious backgrounds can express their beliefs, understand each other's perspectives, and work together for common good. by focusing on the shared ethical principles such as justice, charity, and compassion. People are realizing that despite differences in religious practices, there are universal truths that unite humanity. Moreover, the shift toward Islam is not just in religious dialogues. It is also shaping the socio-political landscape of the West. As Islam continues to gain a foothold in the public discourse, the contributions of Muslims in politics, social justice, and human rights are becoming increasingly influential. Muslim scholars, activists, and public figures are not only challenging misconceptions about Islam, but are also shaping the Western intellectual landscape. Figures like Linda Sarsour, Dr. Ingrid Mattson, and others are helping to bridge the gap between Islamic values and Western democratic principles. Their work in advocating for social justice, gender equality, and the rights of marginalized communities is contributing to a richer and more nuanced understanding of both Islam and Western ideals. Another significant development is the increasing visibility of Muslim voices in the media, academia, and politics. As Muslims become more integrated into the fabric of Western society, they are playing an increasingly important role in shaping the public discourse. This includes not only challenging misconceptions about Islam, but also contributing to the development of Western thought and culture. Their contributions are no longer relegated to the margins, but are becoming an essential part of the mainstream conversation. Academic institutions are increasingly offering courses and programs focused on Islamic studies, and prominent scholars from Muslim backgrounds are shaping discussions in fields such as philosophy, law, and social sciences. In media, Muslim influencers and thought leaders are using platforms like YouTube, podcasts, and social media to reach broader audiences, offering an alternative narrative that centers on peace, justice, and community building. Furthermore, the interest in Islam is leading to a re-examination of Western values themselves. The Western emphasis on individualism, consumerism, and material success is being questioned by many who are looking for a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. Islam's emphasis on spiritual growth, inner peace, and connection to the divine offers a compelling alternative to the emptiness of modern materialism. As more people in the West become disillusioned with the relentless pursuit of wealth and status, many are seeking more meaningful and grounded ways of living. The Islamic concepts of self-restraint, mindfulness, and gratitude are appealing to those who wish to live a life that is not dictated by consumer-driven desires, but is focused on deeper, intrinsic values. The appeal of practices like fasting during Ramadan, daily prayer, and charity is rooted in their ability to offer spiritual discipline and a sense of community, which many in the West are finding to be more fulfilling than the transient pleasures of modern consumer culture. Moreover, the social teachings of Islam, such as the emphasis on community welfare, the importance of family, and the ethical treatment of others, are gaining recognition as beneficial societal principles. These teachings resonate with those in the West who are looking to rebuild stronger communities, support family structures, and address the widening social divide. With issues such as loneliness, mental health, and social fragmentation on a rise in many Western countries, the Islamic commitment to fostering strong social bonds, caring for the elderly, supporting the needy, and promoting justice offers a model that could address some of these pressing concerns. While the road ahead is not without challenges, the future of Islam in the West looks promising. As more people come to understand the true message of Islam, and as Muslims continue to play an active role in society, it's likely that we will see a more peaceful, just, and harmonious world. The quiet turning toward Islam in the West is not just a trend, but a profound shift that is transforming individuals, communities, and societies. It's a shift that invites deeper spiritual reflection and offers a broader vision of what it means to live a meaningful and purposeful life. The future of Islam in the West is one where Islam's timeless wisdom is not only respected but integrated into the modern Western worldview, helping to address the moral, spiritual, and social crises that many in the West are facing today. As this trend grows, We may find that Western societies, once skeptical or even hostile to Islam, begin to adopt its values in ways that could enrich their own cultural and spiritual traditions. The future could be one of more cooperation, understanding, and unity, creating a world where cultural and religious differences are celebrated and humanity can move toward more compassionate and just global community.